Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 0, and it's expected, right? But the BT Sport coverage, the coverage that you're going to see everywhere else, is going to paint a picture of there's still hope for Chelsea, there's still ambition for Chelsea. If they get an early goal next week, they might have a possibility. I'm here to tell you that it's not true. I'm here to give you the hard truth and the antidote that you actually need to get past it. The reality is Chelsea sucks at this moment in time. The reality is we sacked Graham Potter with no real plan of what we're going to do next. And the reality is we've got a PE teacher back as a manager. People used to call Graham Potter a PE teacher, but I don't know what Frank Lampard is then. Chat and breeze, let's get into it. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly from Real Madrid's demolition of Chelsea. Yes, it was only 2-0. But the reality is, it was a 2-0 that a League 2 side would have been proud of in the FA Cup. Come away to a Premier League side, get bullied and say, you know what, we can hold our respect high. It's not good enough for me. I'm a Chelsea fan. It's not good enough. Alright guys, let's get into it. Let's break this down. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You know the deal. We're aiming for 1,000 likes. The reality is, today for me has to be blamed on Frank Lampard's head. There is no other way about it. This team is toothless. This team has no belief. This team has no faith that they're going to actually do something in the final third. The way he set us up, this is the ugly, by the way, if you haven't noticed. The ugly. Frank Lampard set us up in a 3-5-2. And today, the 3-5-2 posed no punch. It was swing like a butterfly, sting like a bee, but we've got no threat, so I don't know what we're going to do, whoopee. Like, literally. We literally had 3 at the back, 5 in midfield, 2 up front in Enzo Fernandez, in Raheem Sterling and Joao Felix. But the reality is, we posed no threat. What did we do? Yes, we had the initial opportunity with Joao Felix in the first minute. Then we had another chance with Raheem Sterling. Other than that, nothing. Every time we got the ball, and it's like, what do we do next? What do we do next? No patterns of play, no interruption of let's try get someone in between the lines, let's hold the ball up, let's push our wing backs up, let's make Camavinga and Carvajal do some defending. No. And where does this start and where does this stem from? Let's talk about it. A lot of people are going to say we got defeated by individual mistakes, right? Individual mistakes cost us, Alex. This is what we're going to hear over and over again. I think that's nonsense. I think that's absolutely nonsense. Individual mistakes get exemplified and inflated, magnified when there is no structure, when there is no plan, and when players are left to their own accord. And when players are left to their own accord, they have one thing that is consistently made, and that is mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And that's what will always happen. A lot of people, let's talk about the first goal. The first goal, why did this happen? Number one, Chelsea were attacking all the way up the pitch, and Fofana got left exposed on the 5th minute with who? Vinicius. Picks up an early yellow card. People are going to say Fofana's mistake. No, it's not Fofana's mistake. Instructions from the manager should be, first 10 minutes, keep it tight, don't do nothing stupid, don't pick up any yellow cards, make sure you are in a position, know your players. Number 2. Then, all of a sudden, Carvajal comes into the middle. Fofana's already on a yellow. He's petrified of Vinicius. He tries to cover the runner. Brilliant ball. Great save by Kepa. Taps in by Benzema. It happens. Individual mistakes though. No pressure on Carvajal whatsoever. Where's the instruction from Frank? Where were the instructions? Always pressure the ball. Let's get some nice shape. It's the basics. That we had no shape. The midfield 3 of Enzo, Kovacic and Kante overrun in the midfield today. Yet again, overran in the midfield. They did not put up a fight, in my opinion, to say we are here and we are here to be counted. And what makes it even worse is Ben Chilwell's red card. Because we're not going to talk about the second goal yet. We're going to talk about Ben Chilwell's red card. He is another ugly from this game. Ben Chilwell started the game horrible. Ben Chilwell started the game as an individual, in my opinion, that looked like he believed he's too good for this game. Passing the ball short, extremely nervous, lazy, not tracking back. No intensity in this man whatsoever. He looked either injured or lazy. I pray to God he's injured, because if he was lazy in this game, I am going to be fuming. There is no excuses to be lazy in this game. it got exemplified for the red card. Think about it, right? In Frank Lampard's first tenure, that consistently what got him into trouble. The long diag across over the top. A big space left in behind, uber high line, the ball goes over the top, and Frank Lampard's Chelsea team is exposed. This time, Cucurella comes on. Cucurella is on the pitch for 2 minutes at most. 2 minutes at most, because Koulibaly pulled his hand. He's on, and all of a sudden the ball goes over his head. Cuckoo made a mistake. Happens. He's on the pitch for 2 minutes. He's not even warm. Ben Chilwell does not recover. Ben Chilwell is chasing Rodrigo, and what I hate, trust your keeper. Have faith in your keeper to do something. Put some pressure on. Little bit of a nudge. He blatantly pulls him back outside of the box. He made sure he would have got sent off in that game. He got sent off with half an hour. He walks off the pitch straight away. No disruption, no shouting at the ref, no trying to negotiate his way so that VAR could potentially check it. Nothing. He knew exactly what he was doing. And this is where I'm going to say, Basic Ben is back. Ben Chilwell pulled him. He absolutely grabbed him and was lazy. That is lazy defending. Nothing to do with technique, nothing to do with professionalism, nothing to do with absolute hunger. It was just lazy. He didn't want to chase him. And that's the reality. People will say, oh, but Ben's a good lad. What good lad? He can be a good lad in a dressing room. I don't care. Do your job. Your job is to track a runner. Your job is to follow up and make sure you do not leave your team 10 men against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. 1-0 would have been a great result. 1-0 would have given us hope. Now we have no hope. And what makes things worse? The second goal. Frank Lampard, it's your job to make sure your team is set up in two ways. Number one, in open play. Number two, in set piece play. In closed play, what is going on? Why do we always, either when we're attacking, we don't beat the first man, we don't win initial headers, we don't win second balls. Never have I seen a Chelsea team so toothless under Graham Potter or under Frank Lampard in set pieces. We don't get enough goals from set pieces. I don't understand how that works. We don't even win headers, for crying out loud. It's pathetic. And what happens in the second goal? They fall asleep. They fall asleep. How are you falling asleep? You're with 10 men. Short corner, 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, 4 pass. Asensio through Fofana's legs into the net. Biscuit for hands in goal, can't do anything about it. Of course he can't do anything about it. A lot of you are going to say, you know what, don't be harsh on Kepa. I'm tired of Kepa. Kepa saves the ball by pushing it into the net, not the other way around. I'm done with Kepa. I really am. That was the ugly. Let's get into the bad. The bad today was Reece James, Wesley Fofana, and I would even say Raheem Sterling and Joao Felix. And I need to be very measured in what I'm going to say today, because Wesley Fofana is the biggest game of his career. Wesley Fofana is a player that played for Leicester and Saint Etienne. I don't even think he's had a French cap yet. So his level, Premier League level, and he has never played in such a big game in his life. This is the biggest game against the best winger in the world. This is him against the one and only Vini. We left him exposed. We left him one-on-one, and Frank told him, deal with him. Reece told him, it's not my problem, you deal with him. I dealt with him last year, and the year before that, you can deal with him. That's unacceptable, people. Unacceptable. You can't be doing that to Wesley Fofana, and especially after that initial yellow card. You left him there, and the kid was drowning. He done better than Upamecano did yesterday, by the way. Like, he had a good game still. Like, in moments, he had good moments. But he was on a yellow. So he had to let Vinny go every time. He had to let Rodrigo go. He couldn't put in the challenge. It was so annoying to see. Reece James and Enzo Fernandez. I need to talk about this. It was so evident. We're building out the back. Reece gets the ball. He passes it. We build up. Reece pushes up, switch of play, and then we're clueless. And then what do? And it literally was that. And then what do we do? Goes back around, switch of play to Reece, and then what do? Every time we attacked, and then what do? It literally lived with, and then what do? Reece James is a proven, experienced player. He needs to step up on these occasions. He needs to be better as a wing back. And the problem is, I don't know if they've been under the instruction or we keep the ball enough to turn our wing backs into actual forwards or into actual presences of like right midfielders, because they consistently push back so far away from the goal that we struggle to actually penetrate. And it really annoys me, it irritates me. And you start looking at Enzo's performance. Enzo on the ball was good today, man. Enzo on the ball, in my opinion, did a job. Enzo actually performed well on the ball. Off the ball, no interest in defending. And the reason being is he's playing in the 6. Why is he a 6? He's not a 6. Why is Mateo Kovacic in this team? Kovacic is not in this team on merit. He's in this team at this moment in time on reputation. He is only playing because he's an experienced head. He will be leaving the club in the summer. I'm telling you right now, Mateo Kovacic will be leaving the club in the summer, and it's a good. We need to replace him. We really do, because we are truly struggling to retain possession. We are truly struggling to absolutely manipulate the ball and try to get teams where they're at our mercy. We're always reactive. There's no plan, there's no cohesion, and it's evident. Honestly, it is absolutely evident. And if you want to talk about Raheem Sterling, Raheem and Felix, isolated. I felt sorry for them. Absolutely isolated. Felix had one chance, Raheem Sterling had one chance, and both of them just left isolated and left exposed. Absolutely hung out to dry today. And finally, the good. Look, I can be here and sit here and be negative and say, you know what, we are crap, because we are, all right? We're not a very good side. But the reality is, it was only 2-0. We left with some respect. We left with some dignity. And the fact of the matter is, we weren't humiliated. It could have been what happened to Bayern yesterday. It could have been what happened to Benfica with Inter Milan, where Inter absolutely took a robbery and it, at home, humiliated Benfica. The next day, their fans are just angry with us. We just have to accept it, because this is us. This is Chelsea right now. And I know this isn't the most positive good. The good is it's another game almost done. We've got 8 Premier League games. Let's get one more point, make sure we don't get relegated, and rebuild from there. Frank's tenure is going to be over as quick as it started. He's not good enough to be Chelsea manager. He's not good enough to even be on the Chelsea coaching staff. It's the fact of the matter. Some of these players, I don't know, man, because some of these players will be a very good squad for under a good manager. Some of these players are just out of their depth. And I'm talking about Ben Chilwell, I'm talking about Cucurella, I'm talking about Kovacic at this moment in time. But you bring in another manager and all of a sudden they're phenomenal. Like, literally, you just bring in another manager and these levels exponentially increase. That's my just personal opinion. Guys, I'm sorry for being negative. I'm sorry for being angry. I'm sorry for not being my chirpy self that I normally am. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts. It's annoying, but it is what it is.